all the participants to enter the webinar. Thank you so much. So I see Aarti, Chirag, Neha, Yash Gupta, Tushar, Sapna, Rahul, Bhavna. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good afternoon, Sapna. I'm doing good. How about you? Hi, Arman. Hi, Yash. Well, what a lovely Tuesday afternoon to begin with today's webinar. A very warm welcome to all our participants present here today. HR Association of India, along with Great Managers Institute of India, welcomes you all to the 2022 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic, Leading People in Current Times. Great Managers Institute conduct a Great People Manager survey in India and have come up with the list of top 100 managers, and the recognition is powered by Forbes India and Great Manager Institute, where we are fortunate to have 5 great managers from this team list who would be sharing their success stories, mantras, hits and misses, and achievements over leading their team in current times. To know more about HR Association of India and Great Managers Institute, I would request all our participants to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. Request all our participants to kindly follow the webinar guidelines mentioned in the chat window. It's my privilege to introduce you to our esteemed speaker, Ms. Usha Jaiswal, and I would also like to congratulate her over her achievement. Ms. Usha Jaiswal, Head of Human Resource Systematics Infotech Private Limited. Usha is an HR practitioner with a strong focus on human-first approach with a demonstrated history of working in the IT industry. She is an IIM Lucknow alumnus. She is at present heading the people operations for a premier software firm, Systematics Infotech Private Limited. Which is also a great place to work certified company. She is skilled in talent management, performance improvement, and culture building areas. You can follow her on LinkedIn. The link for the same have been shared in the chat window. Congratulations, Ms. Usha. We are super excited to have you here. We will now hand over the platform to you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Peterson. Thanks a lot for a lovely introduction. Thanks for having me here. I'm really super excited to be part of this platform, to be able to share my thoughts. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm extremely honored to be here to be able to share my thoughts. I'm not planning to use any PowerPoint presentation for the discussion, so I would encourage all of you to be very participative in asking questions so that I can simply share my point of view or my perspective on the subject. So I don't consider myself as an expert, but I've been fortunate to come across some really great experiences, some really great leaders in the industry or fraternity who have actually shared their learnings with me, and that has actually shaped my leadership style. So that gives me some credibility to share my point of view. So I'm just taking it from that point of view. So I would encourage all of you to be as participative as you can. It would be lovely if you can turn on your camera. It will be, since we all are working remotely for such a long time, it will be, great to see all your lovely faces also while we are interacting, if it is feasible to you. All right, great. So I am going to talk about a couple of things that I feel very strongly about that in current times. So the first of all, the topic that is chosen for this series, this webinar, leading people in current time, is I think the most contemporary a topic to have and most interesting. I think we can go on and on about this topic, to share, have a thought exchange or experience sharing around this topic. But we have a limited time window, so I'm going to simply pick a couple of things, couple of points which I feel very passionate about, that a leader should have or be mindful about while current scenario, this pandemic induced situations, be it remote working part, or be it a couple of organizations have now gotten into hybrid mode of working also. And since I am part of HR industry, so I'm an HR practitioner, plus I am into IT industry. So we are very closely experiencing this great resignation phenomena also. So this has, so a couple of things like leadership as a soft skills was never as important as it is nowadays. Uh, with technological advancement, with this pandemic induced scenario, leadership has become the center of focus. And our managers or leaders or people managers have to play the most crucial role to lead the organization, and that defines the success of an organization. So couple of things which I feel passionate about, that a leader should be mindful about while leading people or influencing people. I'll just take you through those pointers, what I have been doing in my experience. uh, Feel free to raise your questions during this course of discussion also. After I have shared those points, then we can have a mutual discussion also around those topics. So first and foremost point that I feel a leader must start his journey with is trust. Uh, so if I talk about my experience when I first started as an employee, so I was new to the industry. I was new to the corporate world. I completely depended upon the manager, my reporting head, whatever they were guiding me, whatever they were teaching me. If it was the case that I did something right, wrong, good, bad, and the manager did not provide me right feedback or right guidance, I don't think I'll be in this position today to be here sharing my thoughts on the topic. So that's, I think, first and foremost quality or thing that a leader must try to capture. Inspire trust among whatever stakeholders they are associating with. Now, it is not, I am just saying this one point trust, but it is, I think, the most challenging part to earn somebody's trust, right? How you can earn the trust of people? There are couple of things which can help. So from both the points, being on the receiving end, also being on the other end also, when I'm leading people, how I achieved that feat. So first thing is, when, let's say, I'm leading a team of around 8 people right now, and being in people operations, then indirectly we are influencing a larger uh, pool of people also. So your actions are the only medium that translates into inspiring trust. So since we are part of corporate world, it's a commercial establishment, right? So everybody, each role holder has a set of activities, set of responsibilities or accountability they are trusted with. But what happens, a couple of quite often, in fact, we take those things for granted. We just assume that if I appointed an HR executive in my team, if I appointed a recruiter, I would it's very natural for me to assume that person would be automatically be aware what is expected out of him or her. But trust me, it is not as easy. You need to have a constant interaction, constant review of what is expected out of the person. So for each role, you need to have a clearly defined expectations. And it's not a one-time activity. You need to, revisit on an ongoing basis. So clarify expectations from all the stakeholders involved. So let's say if I'm talking about people operations, so in this example, if I pick a recruiter, so I am one stakeholder, but there are like different hiring managers who are sharing their requirements, are active stakeholders. So what they are expecting from this recruiter, I need to be very actively involved in the process in clarifying that part to this person involved, the member involved. Second is creating a healthy atmosphere to work. So I'm sure you all must have come across situations where work pressure was there, and you just felt overwhelmed with the situation. That you've got multiple requirements, multiple tasks or responsibilities to take care of, and you had no clue where to start, where to end, where to how to take care of those things. So as a leader, as a manager, it's very important for you to provide such a a work environment to your team, that they are free to come up to you, or ask for your help, or simply take a break, take a time out, and just process that. Okay, clarify what are the priorities. Sometimes you also need to do hand holding to help them, that what are the current priorities, what are the current urgencies. Sometimes you need to deal with spoon feed also at times, that in the current scenario, in the current situation, what is the priority item. So it's very, very, very natural, very obvious to take those things, a couple of minute things for granted. But as a leader, as a manager, you need to be very careful about that, to provide a healthy atmosphere, provide a stress-free environment. Otherwise, whatever capabilities your team members have, they will end up burnt out, and you will never get good productivity out of them. So it's very important to provide a clear set of expectation, provide a stress-free environment, so that people could work around their strength areas, and they can innovate in a more free environment, take liberty to come up with more creative ideas, apply creativity, and be more productive in their respective roles. So I talk about they can do more around their strength area. So it is, as a manager, what I have done with my team. So being part of people operations, psychometric tests are a regular part of our working. Not everybody has good access, but now online, a lot of tools are available, a lot of free platforms are available. That's something, if so, why use psychometric test? To it's good idea to invest time and effort to know your team more closely, know your people more closely, get to know what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are their aspirations, what are their dreams, desires. It helps you get a broader perspective, and when you're designing their portfolio, when you're designing their work profile, it helps you gain a better perspective and align their profile in that manner. So I'll give you one example. So I used in my personal experience, I used DISC as a framework to do this psychometric personality profiling. So that allowed us to have a common set of parameters. I got each and every team member's profiling done. Then I sat down with all of them one to one first, and then as a group, to come to the same page, that okay, if I am a D profile, I'm a dominating profile, and the other person is more influential profile, what could be the common language when I am interacting, so that there are no communication gaps when I'm interacting with them, or they are interacting with me, or they are providing feedback, the upward feedback, or I'm providing any feedback, or they are receiving any feedback from external stakeholders. So it helped really great deal to come up with the common language with help of this psychometric personality profiling. So that is something you might want to use if you are you have a privilege to make use of some tools that are available for free, or there are a couple of tools who are that are paid also, but at a very economic rates. But that's a good idea. That's a good idea to invest in getting to know your team. What are their personality profiles, or what are their personality traits that can guide you to understand what are their strength areas and what are their growth areas. So when you are giving them tasks, or when you are aligning their profiles or giving them more responsibilities, when you are designing their growth trajectory within the company or within the team, you can be more clear about it, and you can justify that, challenge them on their growth areas, and balance it out with their strength areas. Another point is uh, recognition. So I'm sure all of us have been through that stage also, where we feel that we are giving constantly, on the giving end, and we feel that our efforts or our contribution is going unnoticed. So that's something, recognition plays a great role. So I can recent this recognition when we received this. So I became part of this. List of 100 great people managers. I very closely felt that recognition is so important. So as a person, I'm I like, my natural way of working is I work behind shadows only. But I also up close experienced it. When I received this recognition, it really boosted my morale, and I felt more closed to my team, because it was due to their feedback only I received this recognition. So it's very, very important to recognize your team's effort and give them credit wherever it is due. And even if whatever task was given to them, they did not succeed, uh, but recognize their effort, recognize their intent, and give them real-time feedback, constructive feedback. So first, provide them feedback that you were clear with the intent, you provided your best effort during the course of assignment or activity, and then give them feedback that how they could improve, where they could improve. So then when they are receiving that feedback with the recognition, uh, they will this it will like boost their trust in your leadership also, that okay, they are not taking me for granted. They realize, my manager or my reporting head realizes that I'm putting in my best effort or best foot forward to accomplish the task given to me or responsibility entrusted to me. But recognize, and always recognize in public. But if you are providing them any constructive feedback, always do one to one in real time. That's another learning I would like to share with you, because not everybody shares this maturity to embrace the feedback. If let's say I'm having a group meeting, and I directly gave a constructive feedback to team one of the team members that you could have done this better. Uh, it might get the person might get into shell. It might offend them. So always sit them down one to one, create a healthy environment, allow them to open up to you, and then provide your feedback. And do it in real time only. Don't wait for too long for the review time to come, or them to approach you, that with the asking for your feedback or asking for help. Don't wait for that opportunity, but you yourself reach out to them and provide the feedback after creating a healthy setting. uh, Another area that I have closely seen being very effective is empower your team members, provide them autonomy, provide them accountability. So first, clarify the expectation. If I am providing them with good enough clarity, that this is what is expected out of you, and this is your purview of decision making. So they don't have to they won't have to come back to you for each and every small decision to be made, or provide them clarity. Provide as much clarity as you can during so let's say I'm delegating something, I'm delegating one hiring requirement, or I'm delegating whatever task which was part of a larger objective. I'm delegating some part of it to my team member. So whatever, however more clarity I can provide to them during that time, There's couple of things here I would also share. This was taught to me, like I also acquired this during the course of leadership program that we frequently keep arranging for our team also. So when you are delegating a task, delegation is a very important activity. So when you're delegating something to your team member, use make best use of technology. Nowadays there are this plethora of options. uh, you could use voice memos, so that team member, if I'm delegating something and I have recorded it, uh, I don't have to wait for team members availability, or they don't have to wait for my availability to connect one to one and then discuss the requirement. I can simply record a voice memo, share it with the team member. Whenever they have time, they can listen to it, come up with their set of queries, and then we can connect for 2 minutes. So if I do it this way, so a meeting of which could have taken me 10 minutes to delegate one simple task can be done in course of 2 minutes only. So and this also gives, if it is a recorded voice memo, they can listen to it multiple times and clarify whatever queries they might have, while they are undergoing that undertaking that task. There are so many technical platforms available for better collaboration, to make best use of technology when delegating the task, when collaborating with the team, right? So clarify the expectation to the team, and then set them free to do the task, accomplish the if you clarified the goal, let them do the planning on their own. Then don't get into micromanagement, don't do very frequent check-ins. Let them be aware of that you are there in case they need your help. So inspire that kind of a trust, inspire that kind of openness, be there. So I make use of so we have a daily stand up every day in the team. Every day we meet for 10 minutes. We simply once in a week we spend half an hour to plan the week, just review the previous week and plan the current week, clarify the focus area, reprioritize, realign. And then we do have a daily stand-ups in the morning, first thing in the morning when we start our day. And in case some buddy needs some further clarity, they just ask those questions, and then we start our day. It hardly takes 10 minutes time, but it's a beautiful way to clarify if there is a change in the priority for the day, there is any change in the assignment, there is any specific points that needs to be communicated to the team, entire team. So you don't have to wait for one-to-one interactions. You can clarify it with the team. And it's see, ultimately we are human beings. So current remote working has all of us have experienced that very closely, that you can't work in silos. You really need that energy to interact with people, to connect with people. So this 10 minutes window also gives us the energy to go about our day. So that's something very very effective way of connecting with team, connecting with people, for you also and for the team also. uh, so let them have that autonomy to go about their tasks, to complete their assignments. If they need your help, they will let them come to you. And so like in current framework that I'm doing with my team, we have this daily stand up. So they know if something if they are stuck with something, they can always ask me. They know that our manager is there to help us out with the situation. So but they have complete autonomy, and they have very we have this team culture. This culture is widely there in the organization also, but in my team I have made sure that people have this liberty to speak their mind without being afraid of expressing themselves with their if they don't agree with something I'm asking them to do, or I'm asking them to follow. They very clearly upfrontly express that. And it has never happened that I put my foot down that no, you need to do it this way only because I'm telling you, I'm your manager. So this kind of, and it's vice versa. When I feel strongly about something, so I provide them reasoning, that this is how I feel, this is the rationale why I'm saying this. Or if they don't know any, so I try to give them a perspective. I try to show them a bigger picture, so they also take like decide it for themselves whether to follow what our manager is suggesting us to follow that, or go with whatever they. So it's their call. Then I simply let them know the situation, that if you do it this way, this could be the consequence, or these are the couple of pointers or consequences to be aware of. I provide them this perspective, but ultimate call is yours, because the task is assigned to you. It's up to you how you want to go about it. So they have this complete autonomy. They have this complete freedom, liberty to express themselves, come up with their suggestions, come up with their disagreements. We have healthy debates, sometimes arguments also. But at the end of the day, we are, if the work is done nicely, if the outcome is there, we all, it fuels energy to the entire team. So one team member accomplishes something, we really celebrated a big time. So that fuels the energy for the entire team. And this also gives a good diversity of perspective. So if I was missing on certain point, or if the other team member was missing on some point, when we have a healthy discussion, healthy debate, everybody has their own set of point of views. We express it, whatever best point of view is, which makes more sense in the current context or current situation, we go with that. So it's a collaborative effort in most of the cases. Another point is, so when I talked about co-creation. So being an HR team, we are responsible to create policies also. We are responsible to keep re-engineering systems also. Whatever HR systems or organizational policies we are working upon. So it's never the job of a single team member. If it is a HRBD, we don't expect that one person only to come up with the that thing. We always involve all the stakeholders, not only the HR team members, but the management and the line managers also. Use that as a concept of co-creation as a good influencing tool. Because if I have involved all the stakeholders during if I am coming up with a new initiative, I have clarified the objective, and then I'm involving their point of views also. They are being part of it during that process itself. Then I don't have to sit with them separately and sell my concept to them. From the start itself, I have their buy-in. Please, huh? Talking non-stop for previous 20 minutes, so let me take a pause here and ask, are you all with me so far?
So would request all our participants to please share your questions, your comments in the chat box. That would help the speaker to understand that you all resonate with her perspective, ideas, and opinions. Yeah, so we have Riddhi, we have Sapna.
Amazing. Thanks, Sapna. Thanks, Riddhi. Thanks, Rahul. Great, because that's the issue with the virtual platforms. You don't know whether your audience is with you or not. Right. Great. Thank you so much. Super. So these were a couple of things. Okay, there are there's one more point before I finally take a pause to ask for your questions. Learning is one of the greatest investment or area or the aspect of your leadership, that you need to invest in your people. Make sure that they are constantly growing, constantly honing their skills. You need to provide them your guidance, whatever your observation is based on your based on their like work assignments, task, or various interactions or exchange that you have with them, or feedback that you keep collecting with other external stakeholders also. So always have a dedicated session with them, with your team members, and provide them a clear trajectory to grow. Provide them with the avenues where they can, learn something new, and make it a point to, ensure that they have the bandwidth. Don't, overburden them. So it's always good to provide them more challenging, keep challenging them with more, new initiatives, more new tasks, but always, make sure that they have enough bandwidth available to spend time, invest time on their individual learnings also. So that's, very crucial part, for leaders to take care of. So I'll just give you one example. So in our team, we have a, no meeting day. So every Wednesday, we, treat it as a no meeting day. If any external meeting is there, definitely we need to take care of it. But uh, you know, we will not. We will work in silo for that day. We will, work like focus on those things. And learning is one of the major, focus area for those days. So they need to, justify that at least 2 hours, in a week they have spent and learned, and they need to, share it in one of the, weekly team meetings also, that these were the things we, focused upon, and they share their learnings, and it's very exciting exchange. So, whatever individual learnings they had, they share it with, team also. So we learn from each other also. So that's something, we tried in our team. So let me just, take a pause here. I think these were the few pointers I wanted to, touch upon. Make sure that, I just put it out there for you to ponder upon, and to, share your thoughts upon, if, this resonates with you. Now you have any questions which, we can, spend time, we can have some interaction on those pointers.
Sure. So before we move into the Q&A session, we will be initiating a poll. Request all the participants to kindly share your feedback on our today's session. We would love to capture your feedback.
Please be as candid as you can, because this is going to help us, help me
Absolutely.
grow as a speaker.
True. And while you all are doing so, request all the participants to kindly post your questions in the chat window, the questions that you all intend to ask the speaker. The speaker would love to respond to all your questions and queries. Once again, I thank all our participants for joining our session today. We have received a lot of inquiry about the e-certificate offered by HRAI. You can claim your certificate by sharing your details. When I say details, that is your name and the session attended in an email to the email ID provided in the chat window. Please ensure you do this by the end of this month so that we can email you the e-certificates accordingly. So we have received a comment from Satna. You're really good as a speaker, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sapna. Thanks a lot.
Okay, she has also asked a question saying that, can you also throw some light on how leaders can use psychometric tools?
Sure. So as I said, there are like plenty of options available. The one which I used, I can, talk like more confidently talk about that tool. So we, used disk profiling. So I'm sure you will find it online. So, it could be done in two ways. It's a, simple questionnaire you can ask your team. It's not much time taking, but it will, after the person has completed that questionnaire, they can, they will like give you a particular report, the complete personality profile, which talks about their strength areas, their weakness areas, their growth areas, and a couple of, common pointers. So let's say, so this is it, is based on four parameters. DISC. D is for dominant, I is for influencer, S for steadfast, and C for collaborative. So let's say my dominant pointers were, let's say, dominant and collaborative, D and C. So that's my personality profile. They will also, share a couple of, well-known personalities, and they will also indicate you that if I am a D and C personality type, uh, if I am interacting, let's say, Sapna, you are, let's say, I is the more dominating factor of your personality. So when I am dealing with you, what should be my approach? If let's say I am a dominating person and you are more influencing person, so if I simply pose be very direct with the giving my feedback or sharing my thoughts with you, you might not be as receptive. You will be there will be a hurdle, there will be a resistance in receiving that feedback and understanding and processing that feedback. So if I am aware that I am a D personality profile and you are an I personality profile, I need to be more subtle in giving the feedback to you, or sharing my thoughts with you. So that's very beneficial. Similarly, so this is not this, I just gave you example of one framework, this framework. There are plenty of other personality profiling tools or inventories available out there, and there are so many options which are available free of cost also. You can explore it, give it a thought.
Thank you so much. We have another question that is from Dara. How can we keep teams engaged and motivated while virtual working model?
That's a great
Not
question,
on the virtual
Dhara.
side.
Correct. So when I started my, session, I shared this. I think constant interaction with the team. We really need because there are couple of things where when we work in silo, we work better. But there are a couple of things we need human touch. We need to exchange that energy with people. Just being around people is important. That gives you that renews your energy. That renews your enthusiasm. Now, being in virtual mode or being in hybrid mode, if you have the liberty in your team to be in hybrid mode, so you can come up with days that you are if you have clarified the expectation to the team, so on couple of days they can work from home or remotely, but have those sessions where once in a week or twice in a week you are meeting as a team. You're spending some time with each other. If you're having a work related conversation, or you're simply having a chill out session with your team, but do have that face time. And in virtual mode also, always make sure, so in my team I have made it as a rule, when we are having this daily stand up meeting for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, we need to, as a rule, we need to turn on our camera so that we can see each other. So that's the reason everybody feels very energetic. So it doesn't matter how presentable you are. Everybody knows we are working from home. We are if I'm working from home, not whole time I'll be as presentable as I would be if I'm working from office. But it doesn't matter. Everybody's aware of those realities. Just encourage your team to have that face time with each other, and always keep providing them clarity. Always keep providing them with real time feedback, constructive feedback. That I think the biggest motivating factor, if I know where I went wrong and how I could have improved upon it. Don't mince with words there. Be as direct as you can. That helps in engagement big time, in my experience.
Rightly said, Ms. Usha. When we talk about constructive, real-time feedback, that is very important. It helps improve and better your team. Beautifully put across. Our next question we have that is from Aarti Singh. We have, how should an HR leader ensure that diverse team join hands together and work for organizations' common vision, mission, and objectives during their crisis time?
Right. Thanks, Aarti, for the question. So I think the pandemic had its dark side. I think we very closely. It's been like very long time now. We have kind of become used to it, but it also gave us the opportunity to have a real close connection. So when a crisis is thrown upon you, you become more aware of your strength areas, your connections, or your investment in people. So in current scenario, so So you are, I'm sure, everybody's aware the current, crisis that is, great resignation. A lot of people are, this great, good boom of opportunities out there. People are moving jobs. One person is having, on an average, 4 offers in hand when, they are deciding to take up a new role. Uh, why is it happening? So I'll give you one example. Employee welfare or employee well-being. I think that has been one of the most ignored areas for decades. And I think current scenario, what we are experiencing is a ripple effect of that. Now, when the opportunities came, so those people who were, like for whatever reasons, they were not taking that decision, they were not daring to, move out of their comfort zone. They have come out of that comfort zone and they have, started exploring whatever opportunities or whatever, options they have. So in my organization, in very recent example, I'll share with you, incident I'll share with you. So there was one team member who was part of a very critical project in the team. This person was there for, more than 7 to 8 years with the organization, and he knew that he was a critical resource in the project. He had the offer from another organization. They were offering him 3 times the salary what he was getting with the team, 3 times. And it's, I'm talking about a very senior profile here. But this person was honest enough. He didn't simply put up his paper. He had a very, he approached his manager. He had a discussion. He, let him know the situation. This is the opportunity. I have certain dependencies. I am very comfortable with team. I'm totally engaged, but then I have, certain financial liabilities. I'm getting this offer. What should I do? Team manager provided him, he approached me, he approached HR team that what could be, done on financial per se, could we afford this kind of a, retention offer or not? We came up with a resultant way. Now, this wasn't, of course, 3 times the offer. We can't afford that, right? If, we start doing that for each and every team member, we can't, as a business, we can't, it's not a realistic option. But even on a compromise package, this person was willing to stay, and he actually stayed with the team. And what was the contributing factor here? Because this person had shared a great rapport with the manager, and the manager was honest enough. He didn't simply try to convince him. He honestly explored the option what best we could do, right? So again, circling back on the question, Aarti. So when crisis hits and there is a diverse team in the mix, uh, if there is openness, if there's honesty, if there's good credibility among the team, I think we can always manage any crisis that is thrown our way. That openness needs to be there. There honesty needs to be there, and constant connect with the team needs to be there.
Absolutely, rightly said. Transparency is what helps you build that unique team. We have our next question that is from Yana saying, while working virtually, majorly employees have to work more than 12 hours in a day, and the entire family members get fed up of this kind of a work culture. How can we balance between family, work, and the company? So it's all about work-life balance.
Work. So we would say in our team we don't use work-life balance as a term. We say work-life integration, because
Integration.
work is such a
Absolutely.
big part of our we just simply can't separate the two things. It's part of our life. It defines us. It gives us it shapes our personality also, right? So it's a big part of our life. So it's how we could best integrate it. So what we did in pandemic time, when we just had started working remotely, and it was all of a sudden, right? So we did these sessions. There are founders. So we have a big team of management, and all are very spiritually oriented. They are kind enough to spend time with the team. So we started a series called Nirman. So we used to have weekly 1 hour session where entire organization, 400 people on a Zoom call, and it wasn't defined criteria, and we involved even their family members. So just to save that so burnout, definitely when we are working virtually, those boundaries are almost gone. When work our ends, when your personal time begins, it's so even at 12 midnight we get an email asking for certain information, and people are, because we are constantly on our devices, we are, scrolling through, so we get to know about the thing. We are using so many, virtual platforms and instant messaging platforms. So, and it's kind of, you become so habitual to, keep checking it out. So it becomes very natural. If there's a notification, I'm going to read it out and then respond to it. So, uh, so when we involve family in those Nirman sessions, they were also, very open enough, comfortable enough to raise their question. There were, mothers who said, well, my child is working non-stop because of this deadline. They were open enough to, raise those kind of questions also. And our, founders or our managers, like top management people, were kind enough to provide that clarity, and they were kind enough to provide, that hand holding, that, spiritual hand holding also to them. And we made sure that those people who were working on tight deadlines, and, those teams that were, putting in 12 hours a day kind of effort, also time also, were given enough break. We have, like HR team came up with those lists, and we forced them to take a break. We forced them to take a, leave. So that was a, it was a mutual effort. So we involved, so for us, what worked was we involved family members also. So when we were connecting, we were having this space time with the family members also as part of those Nirman session, where the topic itself was so important. So, so Mr. Sunil Rawat is our founder. He is our MD and founder. So he used to give us, all the team members assignment that, okay, so tomorrow you need to hug your parents, you need to hug your mother, you need to hug your, father. And then tomorrow, when in next session, I'm going to ask them, did you receive that hug or not? And how did you experience? So it was, very lovely experience for all of us. I hope this,
Beautiful.
helps.
Great experience that would have been. And it would have been a different experience altogether, having a family members and that kind of connect, rapport, sharing with. Absolutely great story to be shared. We have a next question that is from Faisal Patel. How should leaders enable teams to leverage the crisis time in self-development and keeping oneself relevant to the future?
Right. So as I said in a couple of pointers that I shared with, that learning is one of the major, most important factors. So, you need to make it as a, one of the topmost agenda, to make sure that you are providing those avenues to your team, and you're making sure that they are, investing time. They are, so we use like assessment platforms also. So it's not just that we are, assigning them or, like doing training need analysis only, or, providing them that, okay, we are conducting this training program, you need to be part of it. We are actually making sure, so it's, like instructor led training program. Then we are providing them feedback, on the job feedback also. And then we are evaluating that also using a third party platform, so that the person also gets to know that at what level, their learning was. If let's say it's a business communication as a topic, and it's a salesperson we are, providing this training to. So that person will not move on to the next topic until unless that person has, like on this assessment, external assessment, he has scored 70% score. So it's a very objective thing. So you need to, keep providing that clarity to the team, and providing, like, it's not, you need to enable that learning. Then, don't just provide the agenda, provide the hand holding also. I think that's the, best strategy.
Absolutely. We have the next question that is from Abha Garg. What qualities in leader to maintain healthy environment in office?
Openness, I think, is the name of game. Transparency, openness, and a mutual interaction. Have a healthy debate, and make sure, when, if you are building a team and you have any influence in deciding who becomes a part of your team, make sure you have, diverse opinions, you have diversity in the team. Don't always, it's a very natural tendency. If I am a, if I'm an introvert person, I will tend, when I'm taking interview, I'm selecting people for my team, I will, naturally be inclined to hire those people only. But have a diverse team, because when they express their opinions, they are coming up with something new, which, you didn't come up with. So if you have a diversity of opinion in your team, naturally you will be, coming up with the best possible way out.
Rightly said, and that promotes growth and it helps the organization to grow also in a better way.
Well
Um,
said.
yeah, the next question is from Aarti saying, can traditional traits of leadership work during current times as improvisation is important to adapt in this crisis?
Okay, so Aarti, I think few things remain unchanged. Those are the pillars, right? So when we say leadership, so if if anybody is interested in mythology, or those age-old principles that are like ancient scripture, teach us, even in current time also, after hundreds and thousands of years after also, those stand true. But we need to adapt also, because our way of working itself is transforming. We are, I think the current time we are fortunate enough to witness this transformational, this industrial revolution, what we are experiencing right now. So what management philosophies were true in that first industrial revolution cannot be adopted, cannot be as it is taken into practice now. So that is a constant ongoing process. But few things will remain true, which were true in traditional outlook also will remain true now also. So you need to be be more mindful about the context, what leadership style you're talking about, in what context, what is the demand of that context.
So we have one question that is from Tushar Gadvi. What are long-term impacts of remote working do you foresee in terms of productivity, delivery, human factor, and the entire business ecosystem?
Right. So we all have seen, a great burnout because of this. So in the previous question, when somebody said that people are working, which is actually, it's not like a hype thing. People are actually putting in 12 hours, 13 hours a day kind of a time also, because they can. When I'm working from home, like when I'm, just waking up, my laptop is on. I'm constantly online. I'm, doing something or other. I'm interacting with people. I'm, preparing something. If I'm a coder, I'm, working on those things. But so there's a plus side also to it. So I have a freedom. I don't have to put time in transit. I am I have liberty to design my work schedules. But there's a downside also. There's a burnout because of those. So there are a couple of people who will abuse that kind of a flexibility also. So so leaders or people who are responsible to driving those that clarity at large to the organization, they need to be, so let's call them leaders. So leaders need to be more mindful about providing that kind of a clarity and balancing out those things. Otherwise, if we completely leave this remote working model as is, it's going to end up very badly for all of us, for businesses also, for people also. So we need to balance out, we need to very closely monitor, and we need to spot those abusers also, and clarify. And because of those abusers, the others who are well-intended people who are actually honestly putting in their best effort to make sure they are productive, they are justifying their work hours and expectations they are meeting. So you need to. So that's the reason. So pardon me, because I'm an HR practitioner, I'll always tend to naturally talk about those things only. So performance management things, or those frameworks are very important in current time. So HR has to play a very, very active role in supporting your line team, your line leadership to execute those things in real time.
Absolutely. Um, so we have this comment that has come from Yana Singh based on the earlier question she had put across. I would like to read it out over here. I'm studying in 7th standard. Earlier, my parents were sharing quality time with me and spending quality time with me. But for the last 24 months, they don't have time. So I hate this virtual work culture. Nice to hear your organization culture where you interact with families too, but mostly companies are not arranging such meetings. So a great initiative by our organization for having such sessions and beautifully shared with us, and you have put it across in a very nice manner. There is another question that is from Krupal Panchal. Hello, Usha. Few organizations are hiring exponentially by calculating high attrition. So recruitment has reached to its saturation point with respect to few profiles. So please suggest good points to break this monotonous job.
I totally feel you, Kripal. So when, like, before our session started, I was sharing this only with Peterson that this is the current like, it's a very eventful time for us. Especially for HR folks who are responsible to attract people, attract talent, and it's really, 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 it gets very overwhelming to recruiters, especially when they are, they constantly keep hiring, keep, working on positions, and on 11th hour person doesn't show up for joining itself. So it's a very common scenario. It's not only IT industry, it's happening across industries. But I think with this we will definitely come up with the so this gig economy is a real prospect now. So I'll share again my company's current, how we are dealing with this challenge. So at present my company has plans to attract or add 100 plus people in next quarter. So you can imagine, and this is the additional position I'm talking about, and the replacement that attrition is all time high. What we are doing is, so we are also open enough to engage freelancers also. We are open to have contract workers also. Even people who are so initially we were also like many others, we were also in denial that what our team members are doing side hustles also. We embraced it. We also are open enough. So we have worked, we worked with our legal team also. We clarified that what are the ethical things, what are the legal things involved if we engage one person who is already part of other organization and is willing to take up our work also. But and in couple of cases we spoke to the other organization also, where we had the liberty, where the founders were known. So I think challenging times demand challenging or innovative solutions. So be open, don't get stuck, don't get sucked up into traditional approaches only. Whatever works for you, keep innovating. I think recruitment is the most innovative job in the current time. So whatever innovation you can apply in your context, try to do that. Otherwise, your team will get very badly burned out. So be open, embrace new things. I would that would be my suggestion to you.
Absolutely. It's all about finding a solution, but at the same time being watchful for those moonlighters who are kind of having multiple works done, unavailability scenarios coming up. So a lot that needs to be, one should keep a check on to ensure
We
that
need to be mindful
those,
about.
yes,
True.
that we need to be mindful about that too. There is a question from Sonal. He says, how to deal with such leaders who used to take most of the things personally with a basic behavior of being biased?
Okay, so if I'm understanding your question rightly, Sonal, you're asking if a leader is being biased, how to deal with that kind of a
Yeah.
situation. Okay, I think what I have done, I can only share my experience. So it's very natural, it's common, nothing new. You will come across with such difficult people also, or there are all types of people out there who you have to deal with. Let your actions speak for your intent, right? Keep at it, be resilient, be true to your intent. I think the next person will come around and will, see the right things in right perspective. That's what I have done in my experience.
Beautifully answered. With this, I would like to share a quote. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. That's a quote by John Quincy. Um,
Beautiful.
thank, thank you so much, Ms. Usha, for making the session so insightful and highly interactive. Some of the key takeaways that I have noted down out here is all about clarifying your expectations with your team, empowering your team members to perform and do well as the beautiful example that you have shared of your organization on Nirman. Definitely, it would inspire a lot of other HR professionals to adapt those engagements in their organization. Thank you so much for sharing these insights with us. Um, it has been a pleasure being with you today, and I'm sure our participants have had a lot to learn and take away from this session. This would have not been possible without Great Managers Institute, where we are privileged to be working with them on this series. Though we all know about Great Managers Institute, I would also want to welcome Ms. Jaya Narang, Head GPMS and Partnerships Great Manager Institute, to share a few words about Great Manager Institutes.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And thanks, Peterson. Usha, it has been a very insightful session, and I can resonate with some of the things that you pointed out, particularly early on in your session when you mentioned that some of the basic things which are important for a leader is to have trust in their team members, trust that they are going to deliver. And I guess another important aspect that you also mentioned was in terms of approachability. So to that, I actually wanted to add during the last year's survey that we did, the Great People Manager Study for 2021, approachability was one of the highest ranked statements. I think in light of the pandemic in the last 2 years, we have seen some focus shift from other aspects towards connect and empathy. So I guess it is becoming increasingly important to have a very good connect with your team and to be empathetic, to be mindful towards all aspects of their daily life. So let me just quickly take you all through a brief about Great Manager Institute. Just give me one moment while I share my screen. So we at Great Manager Institute, we are a part of the parent company Great Place to Work, which most of you all would be aware of. Over the years of the study that we had been doing at Great Place to Work, people management came out to be one of the most important aspects. And that's how Great Manager Institute came into existence. As we all are aware, when we talk about any organization, the practices that any organization follows, the connecting dot between that and an employee experience are great people managers. So as long as we have those people managing these experiences, it can result in great employee experiences, which comes as a result of great practices followed by the organization as a whole. Our framework primarily revolves around three aspects: connect, develop, and inspire. So when we talk about connect, it is largely in terms of how each leader or manager is connecting with their team members. When we talk about develop, it's in terms of what is the interest taken by the manager in order to make sure that not just the work is getting done on a daily basis, but also taking active interest in making sure that their team member is developing as a professional, is growing as a professional, is able to take up more responsibilities, and is able to scale up in their career. When we talk about inspire, it's again making sure that we engage with our team members on our daily basis and lead by example and inspire them to deliver their best. So when I talk about the study, which is one of our core focus areas, the Great People Manager Study invites participation from anybody who's a people manager, who's managing a team. It could be a team size of 2-3 managers to right up to, even a CEO of a company participating, because of course they are leading teams again. Last year, we saw 10,273 managers participate with us for the study from more than 4,000 organizations. And obviously, from that, if you see filtered down to a final list of top 100 great people managers, it's a rigorous evaluation process based on 4 different aspects. And today we are fortunate to have with us one of our winners, Ms. Usha Jaiswal, present with us, and great to hear her insights about how her experience has been. In fact, in terms of the study, the registrations for this year are also now open. So in a summary, this study is what we focus on. And of course, we have a learning and development intervention in terms of the Great Manager Certification Program. So in a nutshell, this summarizes what we do at Great Manager Institute. In case there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Jaya, for letting us know about Great Manager Institute and the benefits extended to all the HRAI members. I once again thank our dear speaker, Anjaya, for joining us today. Do join us for our next masterclass tomorrow on the topic Leading People in Current Times, a session by Ms. Devasmita Koshal, Head HR and Communication and Soft Skills Training, AVP, GI Outsourcing on the 23rd of February 2022. Request you to kindly register for this event at the link mentioned in the chat window, and also do join the Dialogue 2022 WhatsApp chat group through the invite link shared in the chat window. That's it from us today. See you soon. Stay safe, take care, and bye for now.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks a lot. Bye, Peterson.
Thank you, Usha. Thank you, Shyam. We can hereby conclude with our today's session. Thank you, Sapna.